Joseph Cott from the Commonwealth of Virginia. I reserve the right to yield my remaining time to Delegate Morris from Wisconsin.
That is your right.
I would like to bring to the attention of my fellow delegates that sunlight is required for TX Active to work. If TX Active is covered in smog, how will this sunlight reach TX Active? And if this sunlight cannot reach TX Active, it will be ineffective and so therefore useless. The money spent on placing this TX Active could be better spent to pay for the medical bills of those affected by the smog and schools and for schools to educate children in the effects of greenhouse gases. I yield the rest of my time to Morris.
You have yielded 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, delegates. As a science person myself...
I'm sorry, Delegate, you were out of order. You did not state your name and state.
My mistake, I apologize.
Representative Smitley from the Michigan delegation. May I reserve the right to yield the remainder of my time to Slinger from Minnesota?
That is your right.
As of May 17, 2009, 6 of 10 Americans lived in urban areas where air pollution can cause major health problems. Almost every major city in the United States is still burdened in some way by air pollution. The most polluted cities include Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, and Bakersfield. In just LA, that puts nearly 4 million people at health risk from the air pollution. It's very depressing to think that the greatest country in the world is not on top of its pollution problem. It also is embarrassing to have countries like Italy and France leading us in these advancements in fighting air pollution. We should take TX Active and not only apply it to our roads and begin manufacturing this great substance, we as Americans need to become a leader of the world and clean up more than just our act, but also our air. So let's help out all the couche makers, the gardeners, the walkers, the rich, the poor, and the middle class. We can help out California, Pennsylvania, Indiana. Let's clean the air for New York, Texas, and Illinois. And let's And let's clean up the United States of America. I know it seems like a long stretch, but we are Americans, not Americans. I yield my time to the delegate.
I find myself in support of this proposal primarily because I think it's a cheap and efficient way to continue to promote America and try to have a better environment. As most testing and most use of this has been done in Europe, it is found that per kilogram it's only a cost of about €1, which these days is about $1.50. As this is a relatively cheap price, I say, let's put TX Active down on our roads rather than build bridges to nowhere that don't help our environment, but rather just waste our money that can be effectively used to better lives by promoting more public health in an efficient way that can be incorporated in the long term in building new roads and in the short term in replacing roads. It's a simple, common sense.
I'm sorry, Delegate, your time is elapsed.
From New York, and I reserve my right to yield the remainder of my time to Morris from Wisconsin.
That is your right.
Will the author please yield to a series of questions?
Will the author yield?
I will.
What chemicals does TX Active break down sulfur oxide and whatever else it was into?
Sulfur oxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, benzene, as long as ozone, as well as ozone.
What do they get broken down into?
They get broken down into water, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen, and other natural elements that are already in our environment.
Every element is natural. What compounds do they get broken down into?
The elemental state, thank you.
Okay. As another science geek standing up here today, that just smacks wrong with me. And I can't help but think that the main reason we don't already have this in America, I mean, if Europe's doing it, we kind of have this thing where we do that too, is that it is in some way dangerous and toxic to either us or the environment. Think about it. We are putting on all of our concrete surfaces that we touch and use a chemical that eventually, regardless of how much calcium carbonate you stick in the compound, eventually renders them extremely acidic. And that's dangerous to us, and it's dangerous to the environment especially. It's basically acid rain from our buildings. This seems very unsafe to me and very untested, and I yield the rest of my time to Morris, if there is any.
There is no more.
Thank you.
Apparently I made a point.
In order.
Lehman, Connecticut, I would like to reserve the right to yield the remainder of my time to Miller from Connecticut.
That is your right.
So we all know our environment is suffering. And like the previous speaker said, TX Active may not be the solution to air pollution, but I think that it's a very important start that we need to begin to go on a path towards. For those who don't believe in global warming, I hope you believe in lung cancer, because as the author stated, thousands upon thousands of people who live in our nation, who we know and love, are getting lung cancer because of air pollution, which it has been proven from Europe that we can help fix, that we start fixing by using TX Active. It may not be perfect, but I think it's a great start. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time to Miller Lincoln.
You have yielded 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Miller connected. Earlier, a delegate stated that the TX Active did not work because smog would interfere with the sunlight reacting with it. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Sunlight passes right through smog. It hits the gravel, and that's why cities are so unbearably hot on sunny days. Moreover, these chemical reactions are so common in nature, and a few delegates are trying to say that because one of the products in the middle of the chemical reaction is an acid, that it won't work. Actually, multi-layered chemical reactions are very common in nature. For example, cellular respiration, which fuels our cells, or photosynthesis. And also, what was I going to say? And again, once again, it's not supposed to be the main solution. It's a small, affordable step. And just because Europe is doing it and we haven't, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It means that as often occurs, the United States is taking a little bit longer. We tend to have a very slow legislative body. All right, thank you. With that, I yield my time. Just begun.
Okay. Robbie Heaton, Pennsylvania delegation, and I reserve my right to yield to Geary from Delaware.
That is your right.
Okay, thank you. Delegates, we have a problem in this nation. That problem is emission of harmful gases. Let me use the analogy of comparing this to a leak in a house. What would you do to fix a leak? Would you put a bucket under the leak and just wait and dump it out the window? Or would you strike the leak at its point of emission, kill the leak, fix the pipe, and be done with it forever? That's what we need to do. The problem with this proposal is not that TX Active is not effective in eliminating pollution, but that it's a reactive solution. And as Americans, we need to be proactive in our fixing of the pollution problem. We need to target pollution at its source, and that is companies that are not regulated efficiently enough. We need to crack down on emissions and crack down on the emission of harmful gases by American corporations that, as of yet, have been free in their emissions of harmful gases. I yield the remainder of my time to Geary.
You've yielded 50 seconds.
Thank you, sir. Chair. Dan Murray, representing the original state, Delaware. I would like to point out that my problem with this legislation, with this proposal, is not that it would reduce pollution, which it probably would, undoubtedly. My problem is with the byproduct that this TX Active produces, namely water. Water is the public enemy number one for highway systems. When water seeps into highway systems, it expands and contracts with freezing, and it will destroy any highway system's infrastructure. I cannot support this because it will only create more costly expenditures in the future when we will have to rebuild our highways because of this deterioration. Thank you.